Hello, my beautiful people. It is Wisdom Wednesdays, and I'm going to talk to you all about the truth behind social media. Recently, a famous Australian Instagram social media celebrity, Essena O'Neill, I believe is her name, decided she was going to quit social media or Instagram or whatever platform she was on, and it's because she felt like she was portraying a fake image and promoting something that was unhealthy, and I really respect what she did. And I think that she's bringing a lot of attention to a problem that is ongoing, that we are not connecting, that we are falsely communicating, and as Lady Gaga recently put it, unconsciously communicating. We're worrying about what to say back to people after they detected us instead of just saying the truth that we want to say. And as you guys have seen on my channel, I speak from the heart. I am only looking to motivate, inspire, and to make change. And I hope that through my different channels, you see different sides to me, not just one glamorized image, which again is something that has been really hard for me within the past couple posts to look at comments about. A lot of people see my image and think one very specific thing about me, that my life has been easy, that I have things handed to me, and that because I look this way, dating is easier, or work is easier, or whatever situation is somewhat easier. And I will be completely honest, you know what? In some ways, it has been easier. But in a lot of ways, I've had to fight a different battle. And this is not how I always looked. I grew up, and I did not look like this. And there's a lot of different things that have gone into me looking this way. I have exercised very intensely since I was 9 years old. I was a competitive swimmer, and I have always eaten well and taken care of myself. And it is a lifestyle. This didn't just happen, and I can't do anything about my face. My parents have genetics. They created me in their different DNA, and this is how it came out. And you know what? I am grateful that I look this way because it gives me a platform. It helps give me a tool, essentially, to help maybe bring attention to things that other people might not be as lucky or fortunate to bring attention to. So with that said, I want to break it all down. And again, social media, skin sells, and that's why I'm sitting here shirtless. So as we go into the truth about social media, there's something very important I have to do, and that's put my shirt back on. Because again, if you've followed me, I tend not to be shirtless unless it's for an actual product that I have been paid to do, or that I have linked up for fitness. There's really no reason to be sitting and promoting shirtless selfies. It's an external validation that you are unnecessarily needing because you are beautiful and perfect without all the praise for your skin. The first thing that I want to get to about the truth behind social media is that, yes, a lot of it is fake. It is a marketing tool. Companies know this. I know this. I have been outspoken about this, but it is a tool. I feel very lucky that I got to grow up before Instagram and Twitter and Facebook really became a thing. I'm a last generation in a lot of ways that can remember being outside and playing, and I had TV and I had video games, but there was still a lot of outdoor time. And I didn't have to worry about social media in high school, which would have made my life even more miserable because I was already bullied and picked on so much. And again, I could not imagine what it's probably like to have to go to school and have your world viewed from over the weekend for everyone to see, for better or for worse. But going back to social media, it is a tool. I went to college for communication, culture, and mass media, and I went to a good college, NYU, where I learned all about these different things. I learned about interpersonal communication. I learned about nonverbal communication. I learned about how image can say different things. I learned about the politics behind image. I understand all of this from a very business perspective. This is part of my career from an educational standpoint and thereafter. So it makes sense why someone who has not been educated in all of this feels used and feels fake and feels like they are being manipulated and manipulating people, because in some ways it is a manipulation. But if you're outspoken and you speak the truth about all of this, you can't feel like it's a false exchange in some ways. And I feel so bad for Essena O'Neill, that Australian blogger I mentioned in the beginning, because she came of age when Instagram was a big thing. And she said she stalked people who she wanted to be like and thought were beautiful. And she would take hundreds of images to get one great shot for Instagram. So it looked like she was effortlessly having fun and her life was great and beautiful, but she was miserable. And her boyfriend, who was even more famous, was miserable. And all these beautiful people she knew were miserable. And I am going to confirm that a lot of the most beautiful people I know from being in the entertainment industry and modeling industry are depressed and miserable because they're looking for validation based off of something that should not be a validating aspect of you, and that's your looks. You can't change the way you look. This is who you were, and unless you go to great lengths and spend lots of money, you're not going to look different. This is your face. It is meant to be your face. It is a beautiful face, whether society says so or not. You need to know that for you. Number one. Number two, that I was a model before, again, social media was a thing. I understand that modeling is a job where you sell an image. It is part of a career that has been around for a long time. And with the heightened social media status, modeling has become an even bigger market and an even bigger profession. And a lot more people are a part of it. And a lot more people want to be a part of it. But I've always said that modeling is not a long career, number one. And number two, that it is a false career that is not as glamorous as it may look. And I speak about this in another one of my videos called The Ugly Truth About Modeling. There's a lot of fucked up stuff that happens in modeling that people don't talk about, that I decided to talk about. The sexual harassment, the lack of pay, the glamorous outside, but the very ugly inside of where you're sharing a room with 7 people in a bunk bed, paying a crap out for rent and hustling, but you're supposed to be wearing the best clothes and looking amazing, and you're probably not eating well and all this other stuff. So again, I understand why someone who like Essena O'Neal at 16 comes into this world not having this understanding of it and feels manipulated and wronged and hurt because she didn't know better and no one was talking about this, and she's now taking a stance and it is beautiful. And she said she was afraid and ashamed and embarrassed to ask for money from her followers, from you guys, from people watching. And I will agree, it is slightly embarrassing and it makes you feel like you're not actually doing this for real. But here's the thing. We're expected to produce high quality content for really no reasons except hopefully get followers, to therefore hopefully have brands want to work for us, to hopefully then make money from those brands. And again, it does work out that way if you are lucky and if you fit a certain mold or are able to create this ideal lifestyle that people want to emulate. However, again, it is a marketing platform. It is no longer just a social journal, a beautiful expression of your life. A lot of people are creating false seconds to just put up so it looks like life is great. And that is why I have chosen to use mine for something bigger, for something better, to promote love and positivity and motivation and to create change in your life, because I have been in ugly places in my life when I was in the thick of it, like Essena, where I thought I had to do things that I didn't have to do, and where I thought I would have to really put out stuff that I didn't want to put out, and I was using my looks to carry my life when it should be your brain. And why, when someone asks me, how did you get into modeling? The first thing I say is, why do you want to get into modeling? The second thing I say is, if you really want to model, you can model, but you can also go to school at the same time. I went to NYU while I was a model, and NYU, my school, came first, because you need to have something to fall back on when your looks fade, when Instagram is no longer such an important thing, when all this social media explodes and it means nothing. Because one day, that could very well happen. And if you talk to anyone on the inside, it is exactly what we all agree on. This has a lifespan, and we are not all going to be young and cute forever, and it's going to go away and go away quick, and it's going to be like, well, now what? You need to have a skill set. You need to understand how things work and operate so that you can take the things you have learned and parlay that into a real career one day. And again, I'm not saying this is not a real career. I respect everyone on here because they're doing something and they've created a platform. I mean, Tyler Oakley and people on that caliber, that really high level of following, have used their platform to create multi-million-dollar careers where they are set for life if they decide to really live smart and invest smart. But majority of people on here are doing it for free in hopes that it blows up, in hopes that it becomes something. My YouTube makes me barely any money, and I am okay with that. I mean, I would love to tell you guys that I'm making dollars off of this, but I don't. I'm lucky if I make like $200 a month off of my YouTube, which is like barely pocket money in New York City. My profession, what feeds my life, is my social media promotion with brands and my fitness and my life coaching and the things that are skill sets. You know, I went to school for, like I said, communication, culture, and mass media. I've parlayed that into my blog, which again focuses on many different things: fashion, fitness, eating well, motivation, living the life that you want, travel, all these things. And again, majority of those things I did because I was just enjoying doing them and wanted to document my life and thought that there would be a way to help people. And I got lucky that there then came the experience to make money off of it. Again, this is a very small fraction of people that do that. You're in like the top 2% in the world if you have over 100,000 followers on Instagram. I have hit that marker, but there's still a ton of people that have way more followings than me that are living way harder lives than me because they're expecting it to all come from this one place. I hustle really fucking hard. I wake up at 5:45 so that I can have my first client ready to go and train at 7. And then I go to another client, and then I maybe have a break, and then I work on YouTube stuff or blog stuff. And then I have another client, and then I have a life coaching client or another fitness client. And I've become someone that is trusted in my fields because I have worked really hard to create an authentic, truthful name for myself that shows results. I mean, if you look at my physique, I know what I'm talking about because I've done it to myself. And on top of that, I am a properly certified professional in this field. I have put in many hours of hard work at a bootcamp facility that has trained me to be an even better personal trainer and bootcamp instructor. And I've taken real aspects of my life and changed them so I can give those tools to other people to help them explain how to change them. And I've read many educational, professional books written by people with PhDs and high level of degree to help myself educate even further in the careers that I want to do, because you don't just get to the next level with pure luck. It will take you only so far, and then you're screwed. So, you know, this is somewhat of my response to Essena. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, if you see this, O'Neill, and my explanation of what really goes on with social media. I take a bunch of clothes and I shoot them in one day with a fashion photographer who is a good friend of mine, who I am so lucky to have on my team. And we create baby campaigns so that brands can see, look, we can basically have what we're spending a ton of money on for a fraction of the cost. It hits a ton of followers and we get great impression. Barrett is a trusted individual because of the things he's doing. Therefore, his audience will trust him that this is good stuff. And I'd like to think that I only work with brands that I believe in. And I'm going to be 100% honest that the clothing thing for me is not as exciting. I enjoy it as part of my life, but is what feeds the ability for me to make these videos about building yourself up and being honest and truthful, and what feeds the motivational side to my Instagram rather than just the fashion side. You need to have your bills paid. You need to have rent taken care of, and that's what Essena is trying to figure out how to do now. And she's created a Kickstarter asking for people to help support her. And again, I don't think that she should be embarrassed by this. I would love if every one of my followers decided to donate $5 every time they watch something, because it's cheaper than a movie, but I'm still creating something, and it's hopefully doing something more for you than a movie or crap McDonald's or whatever you're spending your money on. And why, when so many people ask me for professional advice, I say we can set up a life coaching session and have a talk for a set rate. It is my profession, and I need to make a living and live the way I want to live, which again isn't very lavish. Like, here's my tiny little room in my apartment that I share with two people who I love and feel lucky to share it with. But again, it is a life, a lifestyle, and a profession. You can't just sell that it's one of those things. It's all those things encompassed. And if you are only looking to portray this glamorous lifestyle, then you're lying. There's a lot of hard work that goes into everyone's account that you follow that has a lot of followers. None of them are just taking a quick selfie or just posting whenever. There's times that you post. There's apps that you use to edit your pictures. There's real editing that goes on before they're even on your phone because the picture was taken with a real camera, not your phone. Like, that's how those pictures are higher quality. You know, that shirtless selfie where it's like, check me out in bed, I'm just getting out of bed. It's like, no, you got out of bed to set up your phone or camera to then take a picture of yourself in bed acting like you are just waking up. And chances are you probably fixed your hair and did your makeup. As you can see in a lot of my videos, I have pimples. There's one there, there's one there, there's one there. My skin is far from perfect, and I've been so insecure about it for so long, but I said, if I'm going to be honest and authentic, I'm going to show you what my skin looks like. My hair, luckily, this is how I woke up this morning. Normally, I wet it and brush it back and fix it a little bit for you guys, because I don't want to look like a crazy person. Other days, I throw on a hat. Like, it's all a part of it. Everyone knows that skin sells. That's why a ton of people are constantly showing cleavage or shirtless stuff or their butts. And like, look, I'm a part of the monster. I used to be even worse a part of the monster because I saw that it was giving me a feed and it was building and it was validating in a lot of ways. But I finally said, wait, what is it that I want validation for? Is it the way I look? Or is it who I am on the inside? And how I'm choosing to go about my life, and how I treat other people, and how I treat my friends and my family and myself. Am I looking to promote, just fashion brands? Or am I going to promote fashion brands and charities I want to work with? Or socially conscious brands? Or beauty products that are natural rather than just beauty products? Because a lot of that stuff has things that are killing you in it, but we're not educated, so we don't know. Again, education is the key to anything. Knowledge is power. And Essena O'Neill, girl, you are educating yourself right now. You are going back to your roots. You are giving that 12-year-old you a chance to be happy. And you're giving a lot of other girls and guys out there a chance to understand that this is fake, that a lot of this isn't real, that a lot of this is contrived. That one gorgeous moment where that couple is just wrapped up in each other, why not enjoy that moment for themselves? Sharing my significant other on social media was a whole other situation, and I said I would never do it again until it was like really a reason, like engaged or married or something big, because it fucks with relationships. It does, whether or not people want to admit it. It fucks with your relationship. You want people to say how cute you guys are, or squad goals or couple goals or relationship goals or whatever the goals are. It's like, no, the goals are you. Work on your goals for you. Stop feeling bad about the other lives you see living and start feeling good about your life. It's a great fucking life. It may not seem that way, but it's because you're comparing it. You can't compare everything to someone else. You'll never be good enough. It's just that simple. So if you guys have any questions about social media, please feel free to leave it in the section below, because I am happy to tell you the truth. I'm happy to talk to you about everything that goes on. From editing to times to post to all the in-between workings. There are certain things that are confidential between myself and clients because it's just contracts. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to be a internet celebrity, because I don't want that for everyone. I don't want that for myself. I'm using this as a foundation to hopefully build to a place that is something along the lines, again, of Oprah. I want my own talk show where I bring real people and talk about real events, and I'm going to do these type of things because it's a slow build to that. Again, a slow build is a much more sustainable thing in the long run than a quick run to the top. That quick run, chances are you're going to fall just as quick, and I don't want that. I want a real career that really inspires for people. And you know what? If you do want to donate to my content and helping me live a little bit easier and not having to hustle as much, then please head over to my blog, artisanandking.com. scroll down on that homepage. There's a donate button, and it doesn't say it's going to any charity. It says it's going to me and helping me produce high quality content that I want to continue to produce for you guys, because that's what I want to put out there. I don't want to put out crap, but I also don't want to put out false things that make you think that all of this is one way when it's not. And that's why there's blog pieces that I've written about that. That's why I talk about it in so many of my Instagram posts. And that's why I'm making videos like this that talk about the truth behind social media and the ugly truth behind modeling and problems within the gay community and all these things that I see that I don't think are talked about enough. And it's just something that I think, again, the more we get people with these big followings, because mine's big. Again, top 2%, great. But someone like Essena, who has over 1 million across all her platforms, has even more power. And I think it is an awesome thing to see her quit. But I want her to remember that she doesn't need to just quit. It's using how you want to use it. It's a tool. You know, the reality we like to go back and think on and glamorize and romanticize from the past. And I do it myself about, you know, being outside and running around and a simpler time. It existed for me. And it's going to exist for the people today that are growing up with this stuff, because there's going to be a whole other set that the generation below them is using and going, wow. And the generation above me looks at my generation and goes, kid, you didn't play outside. You were on video games. We didn't even have TV back then. So it's all about just remembering that you're alive in your present time. Use the tools that you have to better yourself. Educate yourself. Create a real skill set. Like Essena says, go out into the world and talk to people. We want to communicate. We want to build relationships. We want to feel like we're around people. So do it. I had a talk recently, and this is going to be my last little story, with friends about a book I'm reading called Mindset. And in it, he talks about, the professor talks about how on a subway ride, people will, you know, get on and sit in the closest end seat. And then the next stop, people come on and sit with like a seat in between. The next stop, people fill up that seat. And by the end, people are like millimeters from each other, and no one's talking to each other. So he wanted to do an experiment, and he asked people on a ride, would you enjoy your ride the most if you were to A, sit and enjoy your solitude, B, if you were going to have a conversation with someone, or C, continue with whatever it is you normally do. They asked people, and majority said sit and enjoy their solitude. Then they had another round of people either do A, B, or C as the task. So again, enjoy your solitude, have a conversation with someone, or do what you normally do. And at the end of that ride, they were all surveyed, and the people that enjoyed their ride the most were the people that had a conversation. So while I read that part in my book, I closed it up, and I turned to the woman next to me, and I just asked, how's your day? Yes, it's off-putting sometimes, and yes, it's not like a social norm, which is weird. Why? Why shouldn't we talk to people in an elevator? Why shouldn't we talk to people when they're sitting next to us? We all are craving human connection. I mean, again, that's what we want at the end of the day with one person, is love. And why not create that love all over the place? The movie Pay It Forward was a great example, and I love that movie because it truly is one person doing something to three, and then those three each do it to three. And it's this beautiful chain that happens. And when you start to be the spark, you can ignite other sparks. And eventually we have a flaming fire that is huge and bright and burning and changing things and burning old ways down. And that, my friend, is social change. And that's what we're doing on this channel. And that's why I'm so glad that you have decided to join me and listen to me ramble for 23, almost 24 minutes. So to wrap it up, ask me questions. Please subscribe if you like this video or want to hear more videos like this. And last but not least, if you like this video, then please give it a big thumbs up, because that thumbs up lets me know that you like this, that you want to continue to hear these conversations, and that you do want to be a part of this. Till next time, I will talk to you soon. Much love. Over and out. Bye, guys.